खुद ही भुगतो इसको, मुझे तो इसको खुद ही करूँगा।
Research Intelligence Center, University of Electronic Science and Technology of China. Sir has received his PhD in Computer Science and Engineering from Korea Universities, South Korea. He has authored over 200 research articles as well. He is serving as the editor-in-chief of the IEEE Future Directions newsletter. He is also serving as the area editor of Case2 Transaction on Internet and Information System. Sir is leading many conferences as a chair, program publicity and track, and had organized workshops in flagship conferences like IEEE Infocom, IEEE Globecom, and IEEE Mobicom etc. So, sir, it's over to you. You may start the presentation on the IoTs.
Thank you very much, Isma, and thank you, IEEE Pakistan, IEEE Karachi, Prakash Saab, and everybody who organized this event. It's my pleasure to be here and talk to you. And somebody just let me know from where I can share my slides. Is share screen at the bottom? Is this one, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me know once you can see.
It is on the screen.
Okay. Let me just take these down so I have the full view. Yeah. Is it okay now? Can you see my screen in the full view?
Yes, sir. It is visible in front.
Okay, so how much time do I have to deliver this one?
Depending upon you, maybe around 30 minutes.
Okay, I'll try to finish in 25 to 30 minutes. Okay, thank you again. The topic I want to talk about today is the role of Internet of Things in shaping our future, the future of the planet, our life, and everything, because we feel like it is. Okay. So the big question that we need to ask today, that are we ready for 6G? We are already have seen the full growth of 4G. Then we talk about, I mean, 5G is also in progress in parallel, but we are already to start talking about, and we have seen the applications of 6G, which are parallelly developing. They have to come, those are all applications have to come under one umbrella in a seamless environment where the applications start communicating with each other. For example, if we talk about vehicle to everything, the vehicles on the road, they start communicating. If we see all the advertisement that are coming in the automation industry, there are so many vehicles who are at the moment they are within the vehicle. There are small networks where so many sensors are there, so many actuators are there. Those are communicating to draw extra intelligent decisions. And if we talk about the health industry, there are a lot of developments are happening there. There are so many developments we will be seeing in next 5 to 10 years, which we cannot even think of. One of the project I will talk about today is about one of the biggest advancement that is going to happen in the health industry in the incoming futures. Then if we see, the technologies, how we interact with the technologies. If we see our screen time, the TV we are watching, they're not TVs anymore. They are the smart TVs, and they are learning. We can probably, I mean, we can do so many things with them. They're not, I mean, the way this industry has transformed in few years, it is drastic. And all these are happening. There are two technologies that will be playing a key role or a core role in all these applications. One of them is artificial intelligence, and the second is security. Without artificial intelligence, it will be impossible that we will able to see the full potential of any application in any IoT application. And the cybersecurity will providing us that framework, or that umbrella under which we can secure our infrastructure. The way the technology will be enhancing or increasing the similar way, or with the same rapid speed or maybe more. cyber threats will be, we will be facing those cyber threats as well. If I talk about the cyber threats that are happening every day, there is a link I could have shared with you, but I forget that. If we see that the number of threats that are being generated at any time around the world, they are, would you imagine if I say that they're in millions at any time? They are not, you can see like how many threats are, how many attacks. Those are the attacks, and those are the attacks that are being detected. Okay, they are being detected, but there are so many kind of attacks which are not being detected. They are just, so passive attacks. So if I talk about, before I go further, I will just take you a little bit back, that how did we started this one. If we talk about the technology of all these 2G, 3G, 4G, what we had in the beginning is that we had first, small 2G, where we were using human-to-human communication. We used to send message to our mobile phone, to other mobile phones. If we talk about like such as probably those Nokia series phones, then we moved to Internet of Content Things, WWW. With that, there were so many applications, or so many web applications start emerging. Then we saw the social media era, which we can call Internet of People, where there were so many these social media platforms. They emerged, like Facebook sites, its peak, YouTube, Instagram, and recently a few other, like TikTok, and there are so many others which I even don't remember the name of. And then now we are already in the Internet of Things era. Internet of Things era is that machine to machine communication. The difference is, even in the previous ones, it is already a machine talking to machine. But here, the difference between previous one and this one is that in the previous one, there was a human involvement. And here, there is a machine to machine involvement. The machines will be deciding what they need to do intelligently to draw smart decision. For example, one small example is like, not exact example of machine to machine communication, but a simple example is that think about, you send a query to Google. You search anything on the Google, and you fetch it. The result comes to you in maybe milliseconds. And have you ever thought how those results came to you, and from where they came from? From where they came. Do you think they are in your machine? Do you think they are in your neighboring machine? And do you think, or you think they're they are stored in your university? They required to save in your university servers, or maybe your city, maybe your country? Where it is coming from? It's coming from all over the world. There are servers. The servers could be anywhere in the world. It could be in USA, it could be in UK, it could be. So what is happening there? Your query travels, okay, and it travels from machine to machine. It travels from machine to machine once the results are generated. It is a very simplest example I could give, okay. So then you will receive the outcome. You will see the result in front of your screen, of your query. So how did it started? Okay, why do we call it is Internet of Things? Okay, we call it Internet of Things because now today the number of devices on this planet are maybe 8 or 9 times more than the human population. The number of devices connected to internet are 8 to 9 times more than human population. Think about, if we have 8 billion people, then the devices are maybe 8 times or 9 times more. How they are? Maybe we all have our smartphones, our cell phones, they're connected to internet. We have our laptops. Some of us has desktop as well. And there are so many servers that are in your university, or maybe there are so many other companies. They have their servers like Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft, and then there are so many machines that are connected to internet 24/7. Think about in these there are sophisticated laboratories, okay, where like NASA laboratory. There are so many other kind of laboratories. They have so many kind of machines, and then we have satellites. We have from small devices, from sensor to satellites, all these devices are connected to internet. And if you see this table, it tells you, like, how many data, how much data is being produced. And then there is a comparison of 2016, 17, and 2020. I mean, in every second, in every minute, 200 million emails are being sent. Think about 200 million emails. How many are there in number? 4.2 million Google searches, 480,000 tweets, 60,000 Amazon Instagram images are being uploaded, 4.7 million views of videos. Okay, so all these things, okay, they are a result of so many devices connected to the internet. Yeah, so yeah, this is a trends about the data centers. I mean, if there are, like, for example, so much data is being produced in 2014 and 15, the data was so much that I mean, it's a very simple, I mean, it's examples to demonstrate, because sometimes we stop having numbers, we start our calculation cannot understand how much data it is. The data is so much, like if we start burning on the CDs or DVDs and we place them on top of each other, we can reach on the moon and even can come back. That much data was in 2014, and now it is so many times more, okay, than that. So how did it started? Actually, this the whole thing started from there was one thing, IoT devices, and then there was parallelly other kind of data that is we call burst traffic. Okay, there were so many sophisticated applications, such as when I was in Korea, I was working with this research center. We were working on a nuclear material. What we were what we were doing at that time, that is still one of the world's biggest project, which aim to produce fusion energy by fusion energy, just like it is happening in the sun by 2050. So what they're doing there is that they bombard, okay, some atomic material on a particular kind of metal, and that produced once that bombardment happened, for just a few minutes, I mean, terabytes of data is being produced, and that terabyte of data is called a big data or a burst traffic. A burst means just it suddenly started, okay, and then those data need to be communicated, because there were so many. I mean, if I just give the example of my research center, we had collaborators or partner from 7 countries. So we have some of the scientists and researchers, they were in the USA, some of them were in UK, some of them were in China and in Japan and Italy and France. So there were 7 or 8 countries that were on board. So after every experiment, we have to talk about what we get out of that experiment. So all the researchers, they sit together. There were dedicated tunneling between our research center from Korea to other research center. There were dedicated tunneling. So this burst traffic, if not all the data, the extract of the data can travel, and all has a different view. So maybe the expert of the data is sitting in USA, and then the result is the data is coming from the experiment is happening, and then there is another experiment is going to happen in like after 30 minutes, and in those 30 minutes we have to see what was the outcome of the first experiment, whether do we need to change some parameters, do we need to do something. So this bursting traffic required a lot of elasticity, okay, because before that the actual layer or actual data centers where our data is stored, they were laid a long time ago. For example, if I give the example, if I talk about the Facebook was laid or Facebook is new, we can talk about Facebook also. But if I talk about the Microsoft, the data center was there a long time ago, but the data started expanding. What they can do you think that they can go for the expansion, but what about the networking, the communication? If they turn off, if the Facebook turn off shut down if they want to, because the data is increasing, so they want to tackle the challenge, the challenges that is happening there because of the data. Either is that they go for just to change the whole networking, or they adopt the smart solutions. If they change the whole networking, for that they have to shut down the whole infrastructure, but they cannot afford that. So then we go for the elastic solution where they have the elasticity that we can expand. Then we go for the virtualization, where in this one, if we talk about the eBay, or if we talk about, sorry, e-businesses, all the e-commerce, then in the e-commerce there are so many stakeholders, so many players. They start coming and they start claiming a chunk of all the internet. For example, one biggest example of that one is eBay. Amazon was there, and eBay started coming, and eBay said that, okay, I want to lay down on my own infrastructure, but actually eBay does not have any physical infrastructure. So they said that probably I want to fetch some product from Amazon, I want to fetch some product from Microsoft, from other data, and on top of that I want to have a view that the user feel that they are interacting, or they're interacting with an independent infrastructure. So there is the physical infrastructure, and then because of the eBay, and on top of that, well, there are so many other small stakeholders, small businesses. So we start virtualizing those physical layers into we had the concept of earlier the machine, the server virtualization. Here we are talking about the server plus networking, virtualizing the network, the networking as well. And after that we move to the open sources. Here we have where the users can interact with the network, and can program and reprogram the network the way they want. Before I move to the advanced application, I just want to give the bottom concept of IoT framework, like what the IoT is, and how the different applications and different environments they interact with each other. For example, here let's assume that we have 6-7 applications. There is one application that there is a ship that is carrying so many items and shipping from one place to another place, and each item, let's say that they have the RFID tags, and the RFID, there is RFID reader is also being installed, and from the reader you can always get the updated information of all the tags there. Like for example, if the ship travel from one place A to, if he has to go from A to B, but there are A to F, there are a transit, like maybe they have to load off some stuff at B point and take new item from B, and then same from the C. So the RFID reader will have all the up-to-date information of the tags. But that is a standalone application. It needs to, if I want to know if my product is coming, my medicine is coming, and I'm an unhealthy person, and I want to know when it will be delivered or what its location. It is only happen when it is connected to the internet, because otherwise there is a reader, the technology is there, tags are there, technology is there, but it need to be communicated to me via some channel. Similarly, think about you're leaving your home and you have to catch a flight, and you're probably 1 hour away from the airport, and you want to estimate your time. We have the Google Maps updated, but there are certain other criteria you want to estimate, and you want to see, and let's assume that you have to pick, you are coming from Pakistan, you have to reach New York, and you have to pick some stuff from at Bangkok airport or at Singapore airport. So you have to have all the view and of all the technologies involved, and that is only possible when all the technologies are ready. If a ship, all the items are there, if all the items have RFID tags and reader is, but if they are not ready to participate in IoT, okay, if they have not the IoT connectivity, then they cannot communicate with the other applications. So we have to, so these all applications will be called edge technologies or edge application, and we have to let them allow to take part in IoT. If they're ready to take part in IoT, then we need other kind of middleware technologies, like what kind of framework they use, what kind of technologies, what kind of architecture they use to share the data. For example, if you want to travel from USA to Pakistan to USA, but you need to have the architect, you need to have the framework, you need to have it in the airport in Pakistan, you need to have an airport in USA, you probably need an airports in the intermediate points. And then we talk about the communication. If we have the architecture laid down, so what kind of communication? For example, if you're speaking in English or Urdu, and the other person is talking in Chinese, how you're going to understand each other? So we have to have the common languages, common protocols. These all the routing protocols we talk about. Okay, so those communications come into place. And if we have that, all these things already laid down, and then we want the intelligence, where the decision making happen. Maybe your mobile phone, fine, but some of the decision you can have at your mobile phone, but others, or maybe the others you cannot, because they require more data center, more storage, because the decision is coming from so many several entities. And sometimes the decision you see you have is decision is actually happening somewhere else, and you just receive the decision. Maybe the decision is happening at the end of data center or a cloud, which we in an abstract term we call a cloud. The decision is happening at cloud, and but just being routed to your device. So all these information, all this data need to be stored somewhere. So where do we store? Is we store at the data centers, and we communicate this data to all the parties, all the devices, maybe all these applications. They are interested, they are part of IoT, but at the same time they are the receiver of the whole the outcome of the whole paradigm. They are being benefited from each other. So this is, I just explained it in details for the student understanding, so they have any idea like how the different devices, the different edge technologies or application they take part in IoT. If we talk about the smart city is the best example of the different IoT applications. The IoT, I intentionally put the term cyber physical systems, because cyber physical systems and IoT are, let's say, the two sides of same coin. If we have an ideally smart city, in the ideally smart city, what will be happening? The camera light, these cameras are automated. The health technologies is there. The architecture, the houses are smart. Okay, the grid technologies are working in a smart way. The e-health, the healthcare infrastructure is connected to several other, for example, at least few other application like security application. Security from network perspective, and security, physical security also, these security providing agencies, police or other. So all these come into in a smart city. We can see an ideal smart city will be a best example of cyber physical system in IoT. Okay, so yeah, this is the background concept. A few projects I want to talk about, which some of them I'm working, and some of them we plan to work. Okay, the one concept is that virtual network functions, which is I believe a solution for reprogrammability. The one biggest challenge we have today is once the device is programmed, it is just done. For example, if you buy a sensor, and the sensor is sensing something, but or let's say that but it is sensing for a particular application. Or I will give you a better example. Think about a router. A few years ago, if you think about a router, or even in some areas today, what a router is. A router, when we think of a router, we think of a device which has a functionality of routing. So it is a device, it is a functionality, and then attached to a hardware. What if I take the hardware out and just say that it is a software, because a software is integrated with the hardware, and I said that this is a function, this is only a software which can be offered or deployed anywhere. Think of, for example, my smartphone. I just download this software, and my smartphone start acting as a router. Maybe my laptop, my TV in the future. Maybe the TVs will have that functionality. So how it is possible? There is a concept, virtual network function. I'm not going in detail of this one, but that allows us that is an advanced concept of virtualization, where these softwares, they can be offered to these to different devices on a go. If we have that, it is being done in some applications, in very advanced application, but I'm sure it will come into more into play in few years. If we have that, think about a smart city. In a smart city, we have so many cameras, so many sensors, and what they're doing, the cameras and sensor on the road, they're detecting the traffic, they're detecting the speed of the traffic, number of traffic, and suddenly, let's say that a terrorist activity happened, and their job is to monitor the terrorist vehicle. If they're going to monitor from the system perspective, the terrorist vehicle is one of the vehicle for them, for cameras. If there are, let's say, 1,000 vehicles, the system is going to give the output of thousands of vehicles, okay? And then you have to apply the fetching and filtering and to detect. But if the system becomes very smart, and we say that, let's say there is, instead of monitoring all the vehicle, your first priority now is just to monitor that particular vehicle. So the latency we will have, the output we will have is much higher. Similarly, think about a chef. You hire a chef, and the chef is, let's say, is prepared or programmed to make breakfast in a English breakfast, but we buy it and take it to Pakistan, and there he sees the atta, oh, chapati, roller. He does not know what to do. But in an ideal environment, what he can do, we have the image. This accuracy these days, image processing accuracy is almost 99 I think 1%, whereas our eye accuracy is 99.6%. So as much accurate the image processing are, so he catch the image and he throw it on the internet, and then after that image processing, then multiple options come and says, okay, the first option is that it is a recipe, or what you can do with this one, you can make a paratha out of this one. And with the highest probability, he just download that software in milliseconds on there, and then he's perfectly capable to make paratha for you. And then there are so many other applications. The second project we are working on, it's a quite big project, is Safe Home for elderly and sick people, and we have 26 organizations on board from 6 countries: UK, Portugal, Spain, Turkey, Czech Republic, Canada, and South Korea. And here, if we talk about the worth of this project, there are so many people who are, the population on the planet is getting older. The number of old people are much higher than number of the young people. And because of that, it is a lot of burden on many countries' healthcare infrastructure, okay? And also, there are some, we're talking about smart home here. What we are proposing that we install some pressure sensors on the floor, on a smart home floor, and the pressure sensors will detect the activity, the walking activity, their daily life patterns. There will be, machine learning algorithms, and they will detect, like, for example, how this person was, his physical activity was a few days ago, and how it is being affected now. If there is any alarming situation, the system will alarm to these healthcare providers. There are other kind of solution already available, such as wearable devices. But the wearable devices we're talking about here, old people who cannot take care of themselves, and sick people probably who need already assistance to wear those devices, or if they cannot. And then there are other solutions like cameras. If we talk about the cameras, then we have the privacy issues. Are we going to deploy cameras in shower rooms as well, okay, or in personal bedrooms as well? So this technology, deploying the pressure sensors in the floor, we think is a viable solution. This can be, I proposed this idea to a few of my colleagues. They were proposing something for the COVID-19 solutions, and the one idea I suggested the same thing, that we monitor. Instead, what were happening in the COVID-19, we were deploying the nurses and staff with infected people, okay, just to monitor their, just they come for the normal checkup, and what if we have, these cameras and these pressure sensors or these kind of technologies who monitor their, who monitor their activity and see, how they're being, definitely for, this kind of thing, like, if they need to be, there is kind of, injection that maybe we need to have a contract, but in a normal checkup, we don't need to have, we can put it in, this kind of technology, and this could help them. These kind of smart homes could be deployed now. The word is coming out of here, the situation is much better, and we hope that it is continue to get better in the future. But in the future, if there is something, we can go for these kind of solutions, and it will be much more efficient and much more, convenient. We can save one side of the population, and also we can provide the facilitation to the side of the population. Then we talk about there are one project we are different. We submitted this project to one National Science Foundation China recently, and the problem is that the driving situation. Think about in Pakistan, there are different driving hazards we have in all around the world. If we talk about in Pakistan, we have a serious smog issue in winter. All the traffic is stopped from, like, let's say, nobody able to travel after the sunset, and nobody able to travel before 10 or 9 a.m. or 11 a.m. And your road infrastructure is a key thing in your economy. If the population, or if the world cannot, or the whole country cannot travel in, let's say, 2/3 of the day time, it is a huge impact on every life. And the one reason you cannot travel is a visibility. So for the visibility, we were discussing, and we proposed, like, different kind of thing, road profiling solutions, where there is a live assistant. Now we have a GPS. The GPS is provided, the tell you where you have to go. But with your eye, if you can just see, let's say up to in these kind of situation, if you can up to see like 10 meter, then if there is a live assistance in camera, that gives you a possible indication that what is ahead on the road. For example, if there is a vehicle on your left, if there is a human standing on there, if there is a livestock there who want to cross the road, if you have this kind of indication on your live assistance, then it will help you to drive in these kind of condition. It is, I gave you example of Pakistan, but in the other part of the world, there are different kind of this kind of situation. If there is no situation, even driving at night time in rain in the outskirt is a big challenge. So these things can be helpful in many areas. There are a few industry solutions. For example, this is one of the project we are working on. It is a 220,000 pound funding from one of the industry, where we are building the pipelines to fetch the live data from these packaging machines, and we store the data on cloud, and adopting different machine learning algorithms, and providing different kind of view to different kind of customers. We're talking about here the volume where we have customer from all over the world. Like, one customer is talking about maybe 20 or 30 and 30 superstores, or the packaging line is providing their services to whole Europe. So not going in detail. And then there is another problem one of my PhD student is working on is we have one of the biggest problem in these cognitive radio network is a wastage of or idly utilizing the spectrum. So we are injecting NFV, and just yesterday we submitted an article onto IEEE transaction on industrial informatics, where she proposed a solution for this one using NFV. And the last thing I want to talk about, which I said in the beginning, I'm sorry, I think I have taken a little more than 30 minutes. Just 1 minute, I'll take more. This is we were discussing this project with National Health Service UK, where they aim to build a virtual clinician. What is a virtual clinician? Virtual clinician is that you are communicating with your device, just like you're communicating with your doctor. Okay, and not only that, even a bit more than that. How does it happen? The virtual clinician learn about you from your voice, from your text, okay, how you interact with the system, your voice tone, and your facial expressions. There are the closest model so far we have is the social media platforms like for example Facebook. They learn about you, they build your model, how you interact with them with these platforms. They learn about you, for example, how much time you spend on one screen, or one, they know that what kind of image it is. Either it is a traveling image you're watching, or it is a kind of cosmetic product, or it is a kind of something, and how much time you spend on this one. Like for example, if you saw one image for 6 seconds, the system knows that, the system records it, and your where you go, what you visit, that is that now, I mean, so this is a what they're storing. They're only storing your textual data. They're using your textual data and your screen time. Here I'm talking about much more bigger challenges: textual data, your voice data, and your facial recognition data. In facial recognition data, the system will store, there will be advanced machine learning algorithms, deep learning algorithms applied at the back end. And more you interact with the system, the better the system will know you. And there will be a stage, the system will start interacting with you in a way that it will be kind of your physician, your consultant. And it's not only provide you your just like daily life consultation, it also provide you, for example, if there are so many old people at home who lives alone, it also provide you kind of an interaction. Let's assume that there is a kind of, if we replace the system with a robot, okay, but the robot having the same functionality. And now if you think about, there are so many other devices or so many robots or so many these Gemini's, they are just like look like human, and they knows about you and they know what you really want. So that is a perfect companion you will have. And you will see these kind of technologies, or these kind of, this is one of the project, and you will see a variant of this project will be coming, if not soon, then in a decade. Okay, so this all is about at the bottom, it's all about IoT and cyber physical systems. So this is end of my talk. Thank you for listening. For students, you are welcome. I'm as a in my introduction, it was said that I'm editor-in-chief of this newsletter. And here, this is a perfect opportunity for you to provide your conceptual article, 800, not long, 800 to 1200 words. It could be talking about, technology. It could be policy, or it could be any ethical issue related to technology. So do visit this website, and if you think that you can write, you're welcome to write for us. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Professor Dr. Ali Kashif Bashir, for insightful information on IoT. We have got some very interesting questions on the chat window, but just to highlight a few right now, and I will send you those other messages so we can talk about those in detail.
Sure.
But for now, one question that is coming from Noor Ali Saab, a very senior IEEE member of Karachi section. He has asked that any specific IoT application for monitoring the industrial plants there in the market, if you can highlight.
The name of the application?
Application or any scenario?
There are so many, a lot of work is being done on the agriculture. There are so many things such as monitoring the air quality, taking the different kind of image processing of those, crops. But if I talk about, if I say there is any particular application that can help us resolve all these challenges, maybe there is none so far. I remember there is one organization which reached us in the past, and they said that they want to build an application, a mobile application that help them monitor the carbon dioxide level or different kind of nitrogen level in plants using some kind of technology. Our plate was too full at that time, so we could not take that project. There are other couple of projects. For example, I'm involved in a couple of projects with NUST. We are talking about air quality monitoring, and especially the air quality monitoring in these fields. Okay, and also these the texture and color of the crops. Using that, we aim to tell that whether which crop need pesticide and which crop need what kind of solution. But there is no application coming in my mind. If there will be anything, I'll let you know.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much. And Professor Usman Tariq is also here. Thank you, sir, for joining. He's also
Thank you,
asking
Dr.
about,
Salman.
yes, he's asking about how Matter standard will impact on IoT smart environment, specifically in smart homes. IoT smart environment. Yes.
What? Sorry, how? I did not get the question. How metal or matter? Hello?
Hello. Yes. How Matter the things, if I'm getting it correct, Professor
Yes.
Usman. How Matter standard, what will be the standard of the Matter and how much it will impact on our IoT smart environment? Like what kind of matter we are using to maybe to build up the IoT device or something? Does it really impactful?
Matter, sorry, I don't get the point. What matter? I mean,
It's
let me.
specifically asking about the Zigbee standard Matter. Okay, so yes, we can take this question in detail discussion.
Yeah, there are so many kind of solution. It depends upon what kind of what are our needs. There are solution like Zigbee, LoRaWAN, and so many other kind of technologies are there. It totally depends on. I think maybe I don't know if I get the question right, and somehow I'm not able to see the screen. I don't know. I'm not familiar with the Zoom that much.
So okay,
So
he's also
we can talk. Yeah, yeah. There are so many kind of solutions, but it totally depends upon from our organization to organization need or personal need.
okay. Another very good research-oriented question is here from Suresh Kumar, and he's asking any such portability of sensors can generate more future opportunities for engineers. If so, then what particular research area where engineering must work from now, specifically for IoT?
Security by design. Security by design is one of the key area that we probably need to address. There is a huge room there. We have now what is happening is that we deploy everything. We deploy the infrastructure. We design the technology. We deploy the infrastructure, and we deploy all. And after that, we talk about the security. But the problem is somewhere very bottom. I mean, if this bigger IoT infrastructure where there are so many, not billion devices, and those billion devices are being designed by so many other vendors, so many manufacturer, and what they follow, their design, maybe one's design is different from the other design. So when we buy the thing, okay, when we buy the thing as a consumer perspective, we always go for the cheapest one. I mean, maybe we need to come up with something, there will be some standard devices, okay, but this leads to another discussion, which is the discussion is small businesses, because that is where the small businesses try to penetrate in the market, where they try to bring the devices which are cheaper in cost, okay. I don't know, I mean, where to, but the one thing which I can really say is a security by design. Security is something which we have to think about, like, in designing the devices by start. If any device, if you come into the market and say that my device is a secure by design, I think people will buy it. You will be very successful.
Okay, just a last question because there are still a lot of interesting questions, but for now we have waiting for our next speaker also, Professor Prakash Saab. So just a last question to you, Dr. Ali, and this is Dr. Deepika Kondal is asking. She is mentioning it's an excellent presentation. Yes, of course, it is. Kindly tell us more about some applications where we can integrate image processing with IoT.
I think one application we recently talked is agriculture. Okay, we are going to take, if we talk about agriculture or forests, they are spread over several kilometers. We cannot take pictures of them manually. We have to deploy some kind of maybe we have to probably drones or other kind of satellite views. Okay, so this is a perfect IoT devices integrating with the image processing. That is the one thing healthcare. Okay, there are so many healthcare things where we have the healthcare technologies, we have the X-ray images that are being communicated. For example, if you are here, I mean, one group of scientists from China I'm working with, they have developed one product, and that product, what it does is that, and they are planning to sell in the market, and what it will help pregnant women to take the pregnancy test at home. Okay, and then communicate that device, that test, to probably at some healthcare. They build it for these remote areas like Himalaya, or those areas where the women don't have access to reach the doctor quickly, and especially they don't have the road infrastructure. So there, if they have the devices like $10, $20 device, $50, $30 device, they can take, and they have to, during pregnancy, they have to go for the checkup every second, every week, or every second week. So if they have that kind of product, that is I mean, that will be another example, a good example of IoT devices working with image processing.
Definitely agreed on this. It's a very needful application. It could be.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Professor Dr. Ali Kashif, for these details. Okay, let me just present you. Okay. I just want to invite Professor Dr. Bhagwan Das here. He is the co-collaborator of this event, and he is also the chair IEEE Computer Society Karachi section. So over to you, Dr. Bhagwan Das.
Thank you, Dr. Asma, for giving me opportunity to present the certificate of appreciation to Professor Dr. Ali Kashif Bashir. Indeed, it was a very great presentation to having learning about the future technologies related to the IoT, and hopefully it will be beneficial for all of those who have joined today. And definitely these are the very hot topics related to the computer science and it's allied field. So I would like to present the token of appreciation to Professor Dr. Ali Kashif Bashir on his credit to delivering the today's talk. Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving us a very informative session.
Dr. Bhagwan Das, I would like to take a picture as well with you for that.
Yes, please.
I'm just, maybe when I come to Pakistan, so it will be clear. Yeah. Thank you for
anytime.
Yeah.
Even these webinars are a great way to combine
exactly.
To the people who are very far away from us, but very near to us.
Yes, absolutely.
And also, I would like to give you the invitation for our tomorrow's session. It is related to the future internet architecture presented by the Russian Professor Rashid. Hopefully, I will send you the link, and you may join us for tomorrow's session.
Dr. Rashid is my very good friend and my junior. It will be pleasure to join the session. Sure, I will.
Thank you.
I will try.
Thank you, Professor Kashif Bashir, for a very informative session, and I have learned a lot of things from the future perspective points. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Over
to you, Dr. Asma.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Ali Kashif Bashir and Dr. Engineer Bhagwan Das. So our next speaker is Sir Prakash Lohana, who will be delivering his talk on IEEE in Reshaping the Globe. The short profile of Sir is Sir Prakash Lohana is an associate professor and head of computer science at Usman Institute of Technology, Karachi from 29 years. Mr. Lohana's professional interests are information systems, information system audit, software engineering, human-computer interaction, electrical power engineering, and technology management. He has served National Engineering Services Pakistan, NESPAK, as an electrical engineer for about 9 years. Sir has published 2 of his articles in IEEE Engineering and Technology Management Review. So it's over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me for this webinar. And I'm really happy to see the number of participants and their enthusiasm, their interest. It's really great to see that those are interested in listening all these very valuable talks. And it was a very wonderful and nice talk by Dr. Ali Kashif Bashir. Fortunately, I had chances to meet him here in Karachi and Faisalabad. He's really a gem person. Thank you, Dr. Kashif, for your this very valuable presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Prakash.
And
you're always
you make my life a little easy, because my now presentation is basically it is different, but that put the value whatever you have covered technically, and I'm going to talk about the specifically on the perspective of the IEEE and the value of the memberships and why someone go for the IEEE, and when they are opting for the IEEE membership. So one another, obviously they are spending some money, what value they are getting, what is the meaning of that value, what exactly we mean by that, because we have the member of students, young professionals, women in engineering, professional, senior members, life members, and all different categories of the membership. So entirely different, but obviously, but this presentation helped me in putting my case very conveniently with you guys. So let me first share my presentation. I mainly, I will go and talk about the contents of the presentations, and also will share with my experiences and some of the case studies. And my main objective is giving you that thought that this getting this IEEE membership is really worth. It's not only just be only taking the tag of the IEEE, but it's very valuable things. So let me share my this presentation. I think, yeah, here is. I'm sure it is. Okay, and very good friends and colleagues of my Karachi sections members also with this webinar, they have also joined. We're talking about the value of the membership. So what I thought to first focus, I understand that most of we know about, but I'm beginning my presentation very simple word, the value, and understand what exactly we mean by the value. And value is obviously a subjective, it's not an objective. So how? So I'm going to talk about the concept of the value. Then as I mentioned, a couple of successful case studies. Those case studies will help me to, again, as I mentioned, that put my case very strong in front of you, and some of the benefit. And I will also focus some of the professional activities committees plans. Currently I am heading the Region 10 Professional Activities Committee in 21 and 22, and earlier I was the chair of IEEE Membership Development Committee, and even earlier than in 17-18 I was the chair of IEEE Humanitarian Technology Activities Committee. So from there I learned about how to use the technology for the purpose of the humanity, and a lot of examples are the applications mentioned by Dr. Kashif in his presentation. So when we talk about the value, and as I mentioned that a value is a subjective concept. So subjective means maybe for me it's a different, for you it's a different, for other person is a different. So it's not the objective. Now let me make more simple that let me take the example of the student. Student have some different thing thinking about mainly they are very much interested about knowing how they may go for their projects, how they may go for some very some good magazines or something from where they can understand, because the visibility of the students, obviously from the professional, if you look at and the visibility of the students, it's little lower than. So they will, so IEEE has provided the visibility at every stage, you take from the students to the, fellow members. And students will be more interested in arranging these seminars, conferences, traveling. They are interested in traveling. Though a lot of people are interested in traveling, but students are much more, they are interested in networking. So, and if you look at the senior member or a fellow member, they have something more, they want more technically, they want some research, they want some, kind of, to publish their articles in IEEE. So every, level of the membership have a different, so that is value is not as objective, it's a different, this is exactly I mentioned in this slide. So now, as I mentioned, some successful case studies, and I just choose 3 cases, though a couple of more I may mention. Those are very successful case studies. I'm sure a lot of you guys may know these 2 youngsters. They were very active volunteer of IEEE Karachi section. They were very good students. They didn't score 4.40 GPA out of 4, but it's more than 3. But they were very dynamic. And fortunately, I had given a chance to work. They work under me when I was the section chair, and I really feel very happy while looking at their interest and enthusiasm in IEEE. They were very much interested. So they learn not only the technical things, they learn obviously from their universities, from their faculties, but how professionally how someone become the strong, that lessons they learn from the IEEE while volunteering. Say for example, Ravinder and they both were very active students member. Hassan was the SSR of Karachi section, and though Ravinder was not remained the SSR, but he was on other positions. From their students' life, they got a chance to interact with the professionals, with the executives. So they started arguing with them. So they learned how to convince them. And when the time came for arranging the conferences or organize those conferences, they will start looking and they arrange. So they learn the event management, all the concepts of the event management. So they learn how to arrange and how to go in optimum resources. If you have a maximum unlimited resources, then it's easy for everyone to go and do all these things. But if you have a limited resources, how you go in all these limited resources? That is the learning. That is the concept they learn while volunteering the IEEE. And the confidence, that is important. And one more is Om Prakash Batra. He was very much active IEEE volunteer, and he was the first RSR, regional student representative from Pakistan in 2010, I think 10 or 11. Now he's in Australia, he's working there. He did his undergrad from FAST and masters from Australia. Now he's working and living in Brisbane. Okay, here I'm going to show you the history, the development of Hassan Idris. You see from undergraduate to the professional development and international experience and what skills and interest he learned. So he started as an undergraduate student, and then he started working with the, as I mentioned, the different level students, faculty, administrations, and he very much interested in arranging the events. And I still remember in 2010 when we were busy in organizing the Pakistan Students Congress in UIT. He was very active during that time and supported me a lot. So, and obviously he did some good projects over there. So after the graduation, as a graduate, he reviewed the papers, technical, become at that time, because obviously he, established his credentials when he was the student member. And he was started working in the renewable energy groups, and then he researched from Explorer and Access. Then he jumped to the community. Now from there, because at that time I was the member of the HTA committee, he started working in the SITE project. SITE is basically special interest groups in humanitarian technologies. And I was the SITE chair, and he became the humanitarian activity projects evaluations. He started the work partnership with the World Bank. It's the guy, who has started volunteering now, he becomes very much active in all these things. There's some COVID project recently, some activities, epics like engineering project in community service, teachers in service project. He has done something. Then professional development, he became the mentor of the YP career fairs for graduates. He become, he used to go and also arrange some industrial tours and sectional regional leadership opportunities got. Then he got some international experiences. He attended congresses in Indonesia, New Zealand, USA. He was the Gini basically at that time. Now there's no Gini. Gini was the global integrated network at IEEE. This was the network of IEEE students and industry. Now it's no more. It's now the students and SEC doing all these things. He worked with the SEC, and then he became the CLA collaborations, that is the excellent learning environment. Then he learned some skills and interest in conferences on energy and technical knowledge and societies like PES. And he and I were together when we initiated one project in 2017. We got the funding from them. He was very much active and he helped me a lot. That was in Umarkot. We electrify 30 villages, 30 houses of one village over there, and still we are working and under those working with these communities during the COVID also. So and now he's in United States and very well settled and working with an international organizations like Ravinder. He's also working with the Salesforce.com and living and working in Seattle. He also worked for on Amazon. So look at that, and he won the Richardson Berman Scholarship in 2010 and Larry K. Wilson Awards in 2010. So you see the journey of these two youngsters, but the different thing was consistency. Consistency was important. If you don't have the consistency, say for example, you come and you were very active for a couple of months, for a one semester, for a 1 year, and then suddenly you left. And you don't get any results, but it is important that you always plan to keep some time for volunteerism, some time of your life. 24 hours, if you just plan it, you have ample time. And that is, I think, very important. And nowadays, if you look, I'm attending a lot of courses, European courses and American courses for the younger kids, for the school, going on college going students. They are always emphasizing the volunteerism. Volunteerism very, very important, because that volunteerism, there are twofold benefits of the volunteerism. One is obviously you will learn, you will get benefit. Other at the same time, you will support the community, and this will this will make your bond very, very close with all the other humans. If we live in the isolation, we don't feel the pain of the others, how they are living. So, and while we are, learning, we are doing a lot of things, and sometimes, maybe the ideas come, we may go for the social entrepreneurship. So a lot of ideas may become, but the important thing is that we need to spare some time. This is not necessary you go and volunteer in any, it depends on how much time and what activities you are interested in. You choose on your way. But this is my experience, because I've been, working as a professional since last 30 years. When I was the students, unfortunately, we didn't know nothing about the IEEE, because it's totally, we were living in a very close environment. So there's nothing. And when I started working a job and coming out of those things, and then I knew about the IEEE, then I joined IEEE in 1997. And then when I came in Karachi, and then I started volunteering, and I was also like, very shy students, and even I didn't care about to come and go and talk in front of. Now, since last more than 8 or 10 years, I've been traveling a lot around the globe, and I conducted workshops and giving these seminars and talks in international conferences, and And obviously, this helped me, strengthen my network, and I'm meeting the different peoples. So that thing is very, very much important. And it's my experience, and I mention those experiences. So as I mentioned about Mr. Om Prakash, he has the experience. They have put on the different stories. I don't have the time to go for all the stories. But the bottom line, I'm sure you understand what I mean by that and why I am putting these stories over here. Why I want the students, I want the young professionals, I want those whoever in whatever the capacity, they must volunteer. जैसे हम वो उर्दू में हम कहते हैं ना कि सदका करना ये एक टाइम का सदका है. So if you think on that philosophy, कि वक्त का सदका जो है ना, अगर आप अपने 24 घंटे में से थोड़ा सा एक समय, थोड़ा सा वक्त निकाल के करेंगे तो ये टूफोल्ड आपको भी बेनिफिट होगा और जाहिर है कम्युनिटी को भी होगा. So that is why I always emphasize to everybody to do something. ये बहुत important होता है. So then some of the wording from the past director Akinuri, he sent me these words. Membership is a core value of IEEE. Members shape the IEEE's future. Members collaborate to create IEEE's future, and IEEE enhance members' future. So we will increase the value of IEEE membership and improve relationship with and between the members. So join us to have a better IEEE. Join and continue your membership. You don't know, after a couple of years, you understand that, where you will be and how much this IEEE's membership help you to become now whatever you are at the moment. Very, very, very beautiful words from our past president, Howard Mitchell. Howard Mitchell कहते हैं, people talk about the job security. अक्सर हम कहते हैं कि job security नहीं है, ये नहीं है. No one can give you that. Job security is sorry. So job security depends on the company. What IEEE can do, and I use this phrase carefully. I means Mr. Howard. He used the word career security. He used the word career security. So you can be the most valuable engineer by being the current in technology, by networking with others. If you can take the advantage of the product and services that IEEE offers, you will become the most valuable engineer in your organization. If your job goes away, you will have no problem finding another, because it's happened sometime due to the certain reasons you may lose. But if you have all these skills, you have strong this professional career, you'll find easily another one. So that is why Mr. Howard say this is a career security. It's not a job security. The concept is the career security. So this shows whatever we are paying for the membership. Obviously, we are getting more than whatever we are paying. It depends on how, as I earlier mentioned, it is again depends on the value or how much we want to extract from the IEEE. If just member and then we are doing nothing, then you will get nothing. So it depends on you. Okay, these are the some things about I emphasize about the membership, and that is very important, and I want that. And now in my role, because right now I am the chair of the Professional Activities Committee. And what that committee actually do, what are the aims and objective of our committee? It is basically very much connected with the MD. Our job is to do some kind of projects or plans, so we enhance the professional development of our members, of our volunteers. कैसे कर सकते हैं हम सब ये? Say for example, student. I am a teacher and I've been teaching since last about 20 years. मुझे काफी इसका अंदाजा है. I knew that कि जब हम पढ़ा रहे होते हैं तो स्टूडेंट्स का इंटरेस्ट सिर्फ इस चीज से हद तक होता है कि बस ये टॉपिक है, इसको बस पढ़ लिया है और अब एग्जाम में ये ऐसे ही आ जाए तो मैं इसको बस रिप्रोड्यूस कर दूं और उसके बाद मेरे नंबर आ जाएं. एक्चुअली क्या होता है, जब आप ऐसे सोचते हैं तो आपका जीपीए शायद 3-4 is possible, but think about आप सोचें कि जब आप अपने इस चीजों से बाहर निकल के जब इंडस्ट्री में आते हैं तो आपकी वैल्यू उससे डिटरमिन होती है कि आप कितने अच्छे हैं कि कोई प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करने की सलाहियत है, क्या आप लोगों से किस तरीके से मिल रहे हैं, कैसे बात कर रहे हैं, आपको अगर कुछ लिखने को कहा गया है तो आप कितना लिख सकते हैं, अच्छा आपके इंटरपर्सनल स्किल्स क्या हैं, आप कितने टेक्निकल अच्छे हैं, ये बात तो बाद में आती है, पहले तो जो चीजें आती हैं वो ये आती हैं। और ये दीज एट्रीब्यूट्स ऑफ एनी यंग प्रोफेशनल्स विल टेक देम टू द नेक्स्ट लेवल इन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन। आपकी लीडरशिप पे आने के लिए ये बड़ा जरूरी होता है कि क्या आप रिस्पॉन्सिबल, आर यू वेरी मच कमिटेड अबाउट योर वर्क। ये आपको जीपीए नहीं सिखाएगा, ये आपको जीपीए नहीं सिखाएगा आप कितने कमिटेड हैं, कितना आप अपने जो आपके यंगेस्ट जो आपकी टीम के मेंबर है कितना आप बेहतर हैं कि टीम के साथ काम करें। ये इंसान की एक फितरत होती है कि हम जरूरी नहीं है सबके साथ हमारे बड़े अच्छे मरासिम हों हम सबके साथ, लेकिन अब एक हमारे पर्सनल रिलेशनशिप्स होती हैं, वो जिसके साथ मुझे अच्छा लगता है मैं उनसे घूमता हूँ, शाम को साथ घूमते हैं, चाय पे बुलाता हूँ, मैं चला जाता हूँ, खाना खाते हैं, ये डिफरेंट है। ये डिफरेंट है कि मुझे काम करना है ऑफिस में और मेरा प्रोजेक्ट है, इरिस्पेक्टिव ऑफ मुझे बाज लोग ठीक है उनकी अपना एक मिजाज है, बट ये मेरा एक एट्रीब्यूट होना चाहिए कि मुझे काम करना है इनके साथ है, बिकॉज दिस इज माय जॉब, आई हैव टू वर्क एंड लिव विद देम। उससे मेरी एक प्रोफेशनल एक रिलेशनशिप अच्छी होनी चाहिए। पर्सनल लेवल पे ठीक है नहीं है, मैं सोशल नहीं होता हूँ, नहीं मिलता हूँ, ये हमारे यहाँ लोग अक्सर दोनों को मिक्स कर जाते हैं और फिर वो एक कंट्रोवर्सी जन्म लेती है और उसके बाद बजाय प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करने के कहीं और निकल जाते हैं। ये अक्सर चूंकि हमारे यंगस्टर्स जो हैं, जब मैं इनको असाइनमेंट देता हूँ, अच्छा भाई ग्रुप में, ओहो सर बस सर मेरा ग्रुप सर बनेगा, मेरा ये दोस्त है, मेरा ऐसे, मैं कोशिश करता हूँ कि ये ना हो। इसलिए नहीं हो कि मुझे ऐसा करने में अच्छा लग रहा है, बिकॉज जब आप प्रोफेशनल लाइफ में जाएंगे तो ये सारे दोस्त आपके साथ नहीं होंगे, कोई कहाँ होगा कोई कहाँ होगा, तो आपको काम करना है, टीम के साथ चलना है। आज जब मैं पढ़ रहा था मेरे दोस्त वो अभी कहाँ हैं, मैं कहाँ हूँ, किनके साथ काम करता हूँ, आगे किसके साथ काम करूंगा मुझे नहीं पता, बट मुझ में ये नेचुरली एक खूबी थी क्या था। लेकिन मैं हर एनवायरनमेंट में आया, मैं नेस्पाग में भी रहा, मैं काफी सारे लोगों के साथ काम किया, पता नहीं कहाँ कहाँ धक्के खाए, बट आई स्पेंड वेरी गुड ऑफ टाइम। अब ठीक है, अब मैं उनसे नहीं मिलता, मुझे नहीं पता, बाज मिलते हैं अच्छी सलामत होती है, बाज नहीं मिलते। सो दैट क्वालिटी इज इम्पोर्टेंट, वो जरूर होना चाहिए। तो प्रोफेशनल एक्टिविटीज कमेटी में इस किस्म के हम कोर्सेज या इस किस्म की हम ट्रेनिंग्स या वर्कशॉप का एहतमाम करते हैं कि जिसमें ये चीज आप में हो। लिखना बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट होता है, लिखने से आई डू रिमेम्बर अक्सर जब आप बात हमारे जो लिखते हैं ना वो ट्रांसलेट कर रहे होते, जो कहना चाहते हैं उर्दू में या सिंधी में उसको सीधा सीधा ट्रांसलेट कर लेते हैं, और जिसको लिखा जा रहा है वो जब पढ़ता है तो उससे वो एनायड हो जाता है कि यार इसने ये कैसे लिख दिया, और एक चपकली शुरू हो जाती है और एक बहस शुरू हो जाती है विदाउट। अगर आप वही लोग बैठ के जब बात करेंगे तो एक डिफरेंट होगा, नहीं यार सॉरी सॉरी सॉरी। सो इसका मतलब है हमें कहीं लिखने में प्रॉब्लम है, हम चीजों को प्रॉपर वर्ड्स नहीं ढूंढते हैं, प्रॉपर जो है, क्योंकि लिखने में आप लिखते वक्त आपकी इमोशंस नहीं जा रहे हैं ना, वो तो वर्ड जा रहे हैं। तो अगेन यू नीड टू वेरी सॉफ्ट वर्ड्स। फिर ठीक है आपकी अगर कोई चीजें हैं तो बेटर यू हैव टू टॉक, कम लिख के ज्यादा उनको बोलना या उनको बात करना ज्यादा बेहतर है। ईमेल कैसे लिखी जाती है, अब ईमेल एक दोस्त को लिखी जा रही है, ईमेल एक आप अपने सबऑर्डिनेट को लिख रहे हैं, ईमेल आप बॉस को लिख रहे हैं, ईमेल आप एक्स्ट्रा किसी बाहर की कंपनी को लिख रहे हैं, ईमेल आप एक डिफरेंट, सो यू हैव टू चूज द डिफरेंट वर्ड्स। आप सबको एक ही तरह से नहीं लिख सकते ना। सो दिस इज, फिर आप में प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग के स्किल्स आने चाहिए। अच्छा प्रॉब्लम, ओ ये नहीं होगा, पता नहीं कैसे होगा, हर मसले का हल होता है। So you have to sit together and discuss it, starting किस तरीके से लें, आहिस्ता 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 वो चीजें निकलते निकलते आप बैठेंगे तो प्रॉब्लम का सोल्यूशन निकल आएगा। और ये मैं इसलिए अभी कॉन्फिडेंस से बता रहा हूँ कि बिकॉज काफी सारी चीजें ऐसे मेरे सामने आई होंगी, अगर मैं इन चीजों से ना गुजरा होता तो मैं एकदम से नहीं हो ही नहीं सकता, ये तो मुमकिन ही नहीं है। मेरे एक बॉस होते थे, मैंने एक चीज सीखी थी, वो एक दफा जब मैं भी नौजवान सा था और अपॉइंट हुआ था और एक नहीं सर ये तो मुमकिन नहीं, ये तो नहीं होगा। उसने मुझे वो बात सिखाई थी उस वक्त, और वो बात वाकई सही थी कि देखिए आपको कोई भी टास्क मिल जाए, अपेरेंटली लग रहा है बहुत मुश्किल है, इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट, बट ये कभी नहीं कहना है, यू नेवर से दैट इट्स नॉट पॉसिबल, यस वी विल डू दैट। फिर वो नहीं होता है, यू प्रोवाइड लॉट ऑफ रीजंस एंड लॉजिक बिहाइंड कि ये क्यों नहीं हुआ, तो उससे डिफरेंट मैसेज जाएगा। लेकिन अगर आपने स्टार्ट में कह दिया कि नहीं हो सकता, उससे डिफरेंट मैसेज आएगा, उससे मैसेज आएगा आप करना ही नहीं चाहते, आपकी इंटेंशन, आपकी नियत ही नहीं है, तो फिर आपका एक इमेज बन जाएगा, वो गलत बनेगा। अगर आप कहते हैं कि नहीं बिल्कुल सर ये होगा, हम कोशिश करते हैं, आप 1-2 दिन लगाएं और उसके ना होने के टेक्निकल रीजन दे दें कि सर ये रीजन है, ये मुश्किल हो रहा है, अगर ये हो जाए तो दैट मीन्स यू आर ए पॉजिटिव, यू डिड ट्राई। हाँ आप ज़ाहिर है इसके अंदर ये चीजें हैं, तो मैनेजमेंट या जो भी वो आपको कराना, जो प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करना चाहते हैं, दे विल प्रोवाइड। सो ये सारी मेरे पूरे एक लाइफ का एक्सपीरियंस है, क्रक्स है। जब हम काम करते हैं तो हम कभी भी इसमें ये नहीं चाहते कि ये नहीं होगा, ये मुश्किल है, ये फलां है, एवरीथिंग इज पॉसिबल। सो जस्ट ओनली यू नीड आपका एक जो पॉजिटिव एटीट्यूड होना चाहिए। और मुझे एक चीज याद आ रही है अभी यहाँ पे, आई एम सॉरी मैं शायद थोड़ा सा लंबा मेरी शायद बात हो रही है, बट मुझे मौका मिला है तो मैं चाह रहा हूँ कि मैं अपने स्टूडेंट्स को, मैं अपने यंग प्रोफेशनल्स को ये बात जरूर बताऊं। एक दफा डॉक्टर राजेंद्र प्रसाद, ही वाज द इंडियन प्रेसिडेंट हु, मैंने पढ़ा था कहीं, was visiting United States, उस जमाने में जॉन एफ कैनेडी प्रेसिडेंट थे यूएसए के, he was the president. So at that time the weather was very bad, बहुत स्नो थी, और जब वो डॉक्टर राजेंद्र प्रसाद वहाँ पहुंचे थे और जॉन एफ कैनेडी उनका इस्तकबाल करने आए थे, एंड जॉन एफ कैनेडी से के we are very sorry president, we have such a bad weather while you are visiting United States. तो डॉक्टर राजेंद्र प्रसाद ने जवाब दिया था कि इट्स नो मैटर, वी कैन नॉट चेंज द बैड थिंग्स बट वी कैन चेंज आवर एटीट्यूड टुवर्ड्स देम। देखिए कितनी बड़ी जबरदस्त बात है कि हम वी कैन नॉट चेंज बैड थिंग्स, एंड वो भी नहीं चेंज कर सकते हैं, लेकिन हम अपना रवैया बदल सकते हैं, अपने एटीट्यूड बदल सकते हैं। सो दैट आई ऑलवेज एम्फसाइज के एटीट्यूड इज इम्पोर्टेंट, टू चेंज योर एटीट्यूड्स थिंग्स विल बिकम वेरी गुड एंड ईजी। सो एनीवे, this is my committee members, maybe some of you know, और ये different countries से, different देशों से हैं, टोक्यो से है, दिल्ली से है, बेंगलोर and क्वींसलैंड, श्रीलंका, बांग्लादेश, इस्लामाबाद, इंडोनेशिया, बीजिंग, Queensland, and myself from Karachi, and I am heading this whole team of the professional activities committees. I don't know how much time I do, मैंने शायद टाइम ज़्यादा ले लिया है। बस बाकी कुछ चीजें जो वैल्यू के बारे में मैं ऑलरेडी आई हैव एक्सप्लेन टू यू गाइस, द वैल्यू ऑफ द मेंबरशिप, बेनिफिट्स एंड द बेसिक प्लानिंग ऑफ द मेंबरशिप्स. So this is some definition I already mentioned. Now here I just want to couple of minutes, the 5 reasons consistently we rated most importantly by members. वो 5 चीजें जो हम एक्चुअल हम लर्न करना चाहते हैं, जो बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट है, उसमें एक एबिलिटी टू स्टे टेक्निकली करंट. Now this is the example earlier Dr. Kashif has presented. ये वो एग्जाम्पल है जो यहाँ फिट होती है कि always we want. और ऑब्वियसली मैं आज जहाँ हूँ, और मैंने जब इंजीनियरिंग की थी, जब तो उसको 30 साल इंजीनियरिंग को हो गए, 10-20 साल मुझे मास्टर्स किए हो गए, पर मुझे टेक्निकली करंट रहना है तो IEEE से ज्यादा बेहतर कोई प्लेटफॉर्म नहीं है. नेटवर्किंग है, I have a lot of professional network with around the globe, not only in Pakistan, not only in Karachi, पूरी दुनिया में जहाँ IEEE है, काफी लोगों से जान पहचान, एक नेटवर्किंग, बड़ी स्ट्रॉन्ग नेटवर्किंग है. Continuing education, as I mentioned that in professional activities committee you will find lot of courses. अगर आप IEEE का IEEE learning network की वेबसाइट पे जाएंगे, you will find lot of courses are there. डिप्लोमा कोर्सेज हैं और सर्टिफिकेट कोर्सेज हैं, कुछ पेड हैं, कुछ फ्री हैं. और उसमें अभी दिस ईयर फर्स्ट टाइम प्रोफेशनल एक्टिविटी कमेटी ने कुछ कोर्सेज सेलेक्ट किए जो पेड हैं, और उनकी जो फीस है वो आप नहीं देंगे, वो रीजन 10 और जो सेक्शन है मिलके देगा. यू ओनली नीड टू एनरोल करें, अपने आप को रजिस्टर करें, लेकिन सेक्शन आपको नॉमिनेट करेगा और वो कोर्सेज करें, सर्टिफिकेट लें, सर्टिफिकेट की कॉपी जमा कराएं, तो ऑल दी एक्सपेंसेस यू इनकर्ड जो भी हैं वो आपको रीइंबर्स करते हैं. लेकिन ऑल का मतलब ये नहीं कि जितने भी हैं वो उसके अंदर हमने लिखे हुए हैं. $29 है, किसी की शायद $50 है, मैक्सिमम यहीं तक है, दैट विल बी रीइंबर्स्ड. फिर कैरियर सर्विसेज हैं, डिस्काउंट्स हैं, स्पेसिफिकली कॉन्फ्रेंस हैं, ट्रैवलिंग के अंदर आप जाते हैं तो दीज आर वेरी ब्रॉड कैटेगरीज। अच्छा, जैसे मैंने कहा था कि नॉट ऑल द बेनिफिट्स रिलेवेंट टू एवरी सेक्शन आर मेंबर्स बिकॉज इट डिपेंड्स ऑन, सो ये सब्जेक्टिव है ना, इसकी किसकी वैल्यू किसके लिए क्या क्या है, दैट्स वी ऑलरेडी डिस्कस। So we need to know about our members, what do your membership value, you deeper than आप अभी और इसके अंदर डीप जाएं अपनी मुख्तलिफ ब्रॉड कैटेगरीज में और जाएंगे, क्या ट्रेनिंग ले सकते हैं, क्या कर सकते हैं, कैसे अपने आप को एनहेंस कर सकते हैं। So every volunteer should have an answer to the following: why you are an IEEE member and what do you value from your IEEE membership। क्या कर सकते हैं ये खुद से पूछें, कैसे कर सकते हैं, रास्ते बहुत सारे। इनफैक्ट मैं इस वक्त फुल टाइम जॉब के अलावा फैमिली भी है और कुछ अपने काम करता हूँ, IEEE के प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं उसको देखता हूँ, फिर रीजन 10 की एक्टिविटीज हैं, इसके अलावा लेकिन उससे मुझे थोड़ा दिक्कत ये आती है कि आई एम एक्सट्रीमली बिजी बट लर्निंग लॉट। और एक बड़े, अब डॉक्टर अली काशिफ को मैं ऐसे नहीं जानता अगर मैं सिर्फ यहाँ UIT में होता, पढ़ा रहा होता, लेकिन चूंकि ये नेटवर्किंग बनी इसलिए है कि बिकॉज बीइंग ऑफ द IEEE मेंबरशिप, और जो काफी सारे लोग अभी आप इस मंच पे हैं, इनसे भी मेरी जान पहचान बिकॉज ऑफ द IEEE हुई है। और डिफरेंट ट्रैवलिंग, अभी पाकिस्तान में काफी ट्रैवलिंग की है, पाकिस्तान से बाहर ट्रैवलिंग की है, तो लॉट ऑफ पीपल्स आर नोन टू मी। ये कुछ स्टूडेंट्स की सब्सक्रिप्शन जिसमें IEEE पोटेंशियल का मैंने जिक्र किया, मैंने विजिबिलिटी का जिक्र किया था। विजिबिलिटी का मतलब है, अब ये पोटेंशियल इज अ मैगजीन, दैट मैगजीन इज स्पेसिफिकली फॉर द स्टूडेंट्स। अब आप इसको आप सब्सक्राइब करें तो ये जो मैगजीन के अंदर आर्टिकल हैं वो इतने आसानी से ये बयान किए हुए हैं, हर स्टूडेंट समझ सकता है। और अगर आप इसमें काफी तो पढ़ने के बाद यू मे एबल टू राइट सम आर्टिकल्स, और फिर वो आर्टिकल छापे आप अपना आर्टिकल, दैट विल स्टार्ट योर कैरियर, कि आपको लिखने का उसके अंदर है। दैट्स व्हाट आई एम सेइंग यू, कि ये वैल्यू है, ये वैल्यू ड्राइव करें आप। आपको एक बड़ा इंटरनेशनल एक फोरम मिल रहा है जहाँ पे आप ये सब चीजें कर सकते हैं, ठीक है। फिर इसके अंदर एक्सट्रीम प्रोग्रामिंग है, उसमें पार्टिसिपेट्स करें, ठीक है। और बहुत सारी एक्टिविटीज हैं, कोलैबोरेटिव है, यू जस्ट ज्वाइन दैट, लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स आर देयर। और स्टूडेंट्स और यंग प्रोफेशनल को तो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, इन चीजों पे जाना चाहिए। ये कुछ और चीजें हैं जिसमें IEEE की वॉलंटियर लीडरशिप ट्रेनिंग है, एंड हर साल ये कोर्स होता है जिसमें जो यंग प्रोफेशनल्स होते हैं दे मे रजिस्टर्ड, और उसके अंदर आपको कोई केस बनाना पड़ता है, एक प्रोजेक्ट बनाना पड़ता है। दैट ट्रेनिंग विल लेट यू नो कि आपकी जो लीडरशिप कैसे आप बन सकते हैं। सो इसको एक वोल्ट का कहते हैं, इसके हवाले से कुछ और एक्टिविटीज हमने की थी। स्टूडेंट ब्रांच कैलेंडर बना सकते हैं, पूरी स्टूडेंट ब्रांच को ऐसे रन करें जैसे एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, उसका कैलेंडर है, उसके बाकायदा मीटिंग्स हैं, मिनट्स हैं, एक्शन आइटम्स हैं। दैट आल्सो गिव यू अ लॉट ऑफ लर्निंग अबाउट इवेंट मैनेजमेंट कैसे होता है, एनालिसिस कैसे करते हैं, रिसोर्स का कैसे बंदोबस्त होना है, जो कि शायद आपको डिग्री करते हैं किसी कोर्स में आपको ना मिले। हाँ, ये ना करने से लाइफ थोड़ी सी आसान हो जाएगी, बट ऑब्वियसली वो लर्निंग का फेज शायद इतना बेहतर ना हो। फिर मैंने अभी काफी सारा जिक्र किया आपसे प्रोफेशनल एक्टिविटीज का, जिसमें अभी हमने इनिशिएट किया है। एक तो कोर्सेज के हवाले से, दूसरा उसके साथ जो है एक एक्टिविटी एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप की हमने इनिशिएट किया है। इसमें एक तो सेक्शंस के लिए है कि सेक्शंस अगर इसमें इंटरेस्टेड हैं तो वो कोई एक्टिविटी करें, और उसके अलावा अगर कोई स्टार्टअप कॉम्पिटिशन्स हैं तो उसको भी, और IEEE की एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप सोसाइटी है उनको वहाँ से भी सपोर्ट मिल सकती है। ये ऑलरेडी हम अनाउंस कर चुके हैं, इसकी डेट क्लोज हो चुकी है। अनफॉर्चुनेटली हमें ज़्यादा नॉमिनेशन मिली नहीं है, मुझे नहीं समझ में आया क्यों नहीं मिली है, बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली ऐसा हुआ है। और उसके अंदर फिर हमने कुछ प्राइजेस भी रखे हुए हैं, यानी बेहतर टीम को $500 है, 300 है, 200 है, और सेक्शन के लिए 250, 150 एंड 100 है। तो दैट इज दी जस्ट फॉर द मोटिवेशन। और इसके विनर्स को हम IEEE की जो भी जब भी हालात बेहतर होंगे एंड थिंग्स विल बी इम्प्रूव, तो हम उसको वहाँ पे IEEE की जो इंटरनेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस में फिजिकली बुलाकर वो सारे जो है, जो ये प्राइजेस हैं, सर्टिफिकेट्स हैं, इनामात हैं, उससे नवाजेंगे। ये कुछ वेबिनार की थी, अभी हमने हमारा वेबिनार कुछ हमने किए हैं, और ये जून में, अभी 19 जून को हमारा हो रहा है, डिसरप्टिव इनोवेटिव क्रिएटिंग न्यू पाथवेज इन डेवलपिंग एन इंजीनियर ड्रिवन एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप इकोसिस्टम। यकीनन आपको रीजन से और थ्रू डिफरेंट सोशल मीडिया से मिला होगा। यू कैन ज्वाइन एंड अटेंड। दिस इज ऑन 19 जून, सुबह 11 बजे है कराची का लोकल टाइम। एंड एक और चीज थी जिसमें हमने पीए कोऑर्डिनेटर्स के लिए कहा हुआ था, ये रिलेवेंट नहीं है। हाँ, दिस इज इम्पोर्टेंट, इसके बारे में अली ने भी बात की थी। IEEE का एक न्यू इनिशिएटिव्स, IEEE उसको हमने लिया है IEEE हार्ड टेक एंड स्मार्ट टेक समिट, अभी हमने उसको रिलीज किया है। रीजन 10 द प्रोफेशनल एक्टिविटीज कमेटी वांट्स टू गेट सम प्रपोजल टू अरेंज सम वर्कशॉप्स। इसमें मेनली फोकस करेंगे IEEE के न्यू इनिशिएटिव्स क्या हैं। उसमें मैंने कुछ एग्जांपल के तौर पर दिए हुए, फ्यूचर डायरेक्शन है, ब्लॉकचेन है, IEEE ब्रेन है, IEEE डिजिटल रियलिटी है, फ्यूचर नेटवर्क्स हैं, रीबूटिंग कंप्यूटिंग है, स्मार्ट सिटीज हैं, और ऐसे काफी सारे एरियाज हैं, उनकी वेबसाइट पे आपको मिल सकते हैं। अंडर दैट अगर आप कोई अरेंज करते हैं कोई वर्कशॉप समथिंग, देन यू जस्ट कम अप एंड IEEE विल सपोर्ट। आई एम सॉरी, मैंने थोड़ा टाइम ले लिया है, बट आई एम डन विद। एंड अगर कोई सवाल है और टाइम है तो आप पूछ सकते हैं, एंड अदरवाइज आई रियली थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर गिविंग मी दिस चांस टू टॉक।
क्या भाई ब्रश क्या वो दिल्ली खराब भाई ब्रश रखिया खाने में, दिल्ली तोड़े तो।
अच्छा, ये आवाज मेरे ख्याल में किसी का स्पीकर माइक ऑन है, अगर कोई इसको
ना चोरा।
Samantha, please mute your mic.
Okay, thank you very much, sir,
And,
for
I'm
such an
sorry,
informative session. So there's a question from Dr. Just a minute. Dr. Lisa, she wants to know how why is different, women in engineering is different from IEEE membership, and what are the benefits of it, and how could we be a member of why?
It's very simple. Different, you know what, IEEE is basically giving every, you know, person differently to work with their own, or mainly the women. So they have created this affinity group. That doesn't mean only the women become the members of the Y, but the leadership role should be remain with the woman. ये एक क्लियर उसमें है कि लीडरशिप का रोल जो वुमन के पास रहेगा. आई कैन बी ज्वाइन द वाई, डॉक्टर काशिफ कैन ज्वाइन द वाई. नाउ एक्चुअली यू नो व्हाट, on that platform the woman is empowering the woman. मैंने कहा ना कि इसकी कंडीशन है, because woman is not, they cannot work in isolation. So this is a society, it's comprising of both men and women, but leadership का role, this is the empowerment. Now any woman can be the leader of this, why no man, it's clear. So this is otherwise maybe you know some women get a chance. Right now the IEEE president is a woman, but that is not because of the woman, that is because of you know she won the election, and that's, but now specifically these affinity groups encourage those women who might you know be not you know coming on the front, and maybe feeling something that they remain on the back end and they don't want. So these how to join, that is very simple. I think on IEEE you can easily join with the Y. And I don't know, Ms. Dr. Asma can whether they have to pay a specific fee or not. Here I'm a little bit confused, because as I knew, if you are once a member, you can pay separate fee for the society, but not the affinity group. I don't know, Dr. Asma, can you correct me if I'm wrong or not? Right?
Sir, actually, the membership for women in engineering is free for the first year of IEEE subscription, IEEE membership subscription, but later on it has a very nominal amount of fee. I can't remember it right now, but yes, the affiliation of is added up in the IEEE membership amount. Yes.
And even in the MGA level now, you know, the Y also, you know, at MGA level, there are positions of a chair. So some of our very prominent women are contesting those elections. So this is the main reasons to take the woman at the leadership role. Objective is that.
Parkash Saab, if I interrupt.
Yeah, Dr. Saab. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. Actually, these you know affinity groups like Y and other, as far as my understanding is concerned, you know, one can directly get the membership. You don't need to have a IEEE membership in hand. So
yeah, but
this is
a little more.
Yeah, a little bit more. Yeah, exactly.
But the better route is via IEEE. So you will have both benefits in IEEE and affinity.
Very true. Very true.
You are right. You are right. That is also there.
Prakash sir, may I add something here?
Yeah, please.
जी, I mean, thank you. मैंने तो जो भी बातें की वो तो पता नहीं इनकी काम आनी है कि नहीं आनी, जो इनके काम आनी है वो आप ही ने की है।
नहीं, मैंने कहा ना कि आपने मेरे लिए थोड़ा सा आसान कर दिया था कि वहां पहुंचना, उसके लिए मैंने सिर्फ ये रास्ता बताया। एक्चुअली जो था वो आपने दे दिया कि हियर इज दैट, बट यहाँ पहुंचने के लिए दिस इज द वे। और एक और चीज मैं आपसे पहले थोड़ा सा मैं यह चीज बताना भूल गया। The right example with us is Dr. Ebrar. I don't know whether he's there or left. Dr. Ebrar is basically, when he joined now, slowly he, did a lot now. He has been invited as a speaker in the international forums. So I think this is a good example. And
yes, sir, Ebrar is here.
Yes, sir.
Ali Kashif, आप कुछ कह रहे थे? Yeah, Dr. Ebrar साहब हैं. Sorry.
Yes, sir.
I thought you left.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
जी अली काशिफ साहब।
हाँ जी बिल्कुल, मैं वही बात करने लगा था बच्चों के साथ कि द कंपटीशन इज वेरी टफ। अगर आप समझेंगे कि आपको यूनिवर्सिटी की डिग्री के बिहाफ पे आपको, आई मीन यू माइट एबल टू गेट अ जॉब, यू विल गेट अ जॉब, मैं ये नहीं कह रहा, लेकिन देयर आर सो मेनी अदर पोजीशंस व्हिच आर वेरी कॉम्पिटिटिव और आपको अपनी डिग्री के साथ कुछ ना कुछ शो करना है, ठीक है। देयर आर सो मेनी थिंग्स यू कैन डू. One of them, I don't say, I mean, one of them and very good option and very good opportunities is IEEE. IEEE, कुछ प्रकाश साहब ने आपसे बातें की, कुछ चीजें उसमें हैं, कुछ इसके अलावा भी बेशुमार चीजें हैं. You can join and you can explore. आप देखें कि आपने ये देखना है कि आपको क्या चाहिए कैरियर में, आप कहाँ जाना चाहते हैं, what your next goal is, ठीक है। तो उसके मुताबिक अपने आप को प्लान करें। प्रकाश साहब ने कम्युनिकेशन स्किल की बात की, बड़े आई मीन काफी 8-10 साल से 15 साल से बच्चों को गाइड कर रहे हैं डेली बेसिस पे, स्कॉलरशिप के हवाले से, बाकी चीजों के हवाले से, कैरियर काउंसलिंग के हवाले से। जब भी हम कोई चीज पाकिस्तान से हमें कोई आता है तो सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम आता है हमें हमारे बच्चों को ईमेल नहीं लिखनी आती है, एंड विच इज अ वेरी कंसर्निंग पॉइंट। मैंने एक जगह पे एक यूनिवर्सिटी में टॉक दी, मेरी टॉक थी क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग पे, तो तकरीबन 50 या 60 लोग थे। तो मुझे हमारे दोस्त हैं, प्रकाश साहब जानते हैं उनको, ताहिर साहब ने कहा कि डॉक्टर साहब आप ना 2 दिन बाद टॉक दें सॉफ्ट सी चीज पे। मैंने कहा कैसे, कौन सी सॉफ्ट सी चीज पे? कहते हैं जी आप टॉक दें हाउ टू राइट एन ईमेल एंड हाउ टू राइट ए सीवी। मैंने कहा सर आप कैसी बात करते हैं, मैं उस टाइम जापान में था कि मैं जापान से आया हूँ, तो मैं अब ये टॉक दूंगा कि हाउ टू राइट एन ईमेल। उन्होंने कहा आप दें तो सही। अब हमने 2 दिन के मार्जिन पे वो टॉक प्लान की, और आप यकीन करेंगे कि वो हॉल की कैपेसिटी को तकरीबन 500 की थी और 150 बच्चा जमीन पे बैठा हुआ था, ठीक है ना। आई वाज सरप्राइज्ड टू सी दैट कि इतने बच्चों को जो ना ये चैलेंज है कि ये बच्चे ये सुनने आए कि हाउ टू राइट एन ईमेल एंड हाउ टू कंस्ट्रक्ट अ सीवी। तो ये मुझे बड़ी हैरानगी हुई उस टाइम पे, और वाकई ही फिर अपने एक्सपीरियंस से भी गुजरे कि हमारे बच्चों को पता ही नहीं होता कि एक अच्छी कन्विंसिंग ईमेल कैसे लिखनी है। एक ईमेल जो आप लिख रहे हैं एक अपने फेलो को या एक फॉरेन प्रोफेसर को, उसमें डिफरेंस क्या है, ठीक है। तो आपको ये चीजें समझनी है। मैं इस पे तो नहीं, अब टेक्निकल डिटेल में तो नहीं जाऊंगी कि आपने उसमें ईमेल में क्या करना है, बट आई मीन लेकिन मैं ये जरूर कह सकता हूँ कि IEEE एक ऐसा प्लेटफॉर्म है जो आपको ये स्किल्स दे सकता है। यू डोंट एक्सपेक्ट दैट कि आपको ये जॉब ही देगा, जॉब दे सकता है, मैं ये नहीं कह रहा कि नहीं दे सकता, लेकिन यू डोंट एक्सपेक्ट दैट। आपको प्लान करना है अपने आप को, एंड देयर आर फ्यू थिंग्स व्हिच यू कैन इजीली गेट फ्रॉम IEEE. वन थिंग इज दैट एक वजह जो ना वो आपकी ना सीखने की या जो ईमेल में प्रॉब्लम आने की ये है कि आपकी कम्युनिकेशन नहीं है रेस्ट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड के साथ। एक प्लेटफॉर्म आपको ये कॉरिडोर प्रोवाइड करता है, देयर आर पीपल फ्रॉम ऑल ओवर द वर्ल्ड देयर एंड यू कैन कम्युनिकेट विद देम, यू कैन लर्न फ्रॉम देम, एंड वंस यू सी पीपल कम्युनिकेटिंग विद ईच अदर यू विल डेफिनेटली एंड अप लर्निंग समथिंग। तो आप उसको बहुत ज्यादा टाइम नहीं, जितना भी आपको हफ्ता 2 हफ्ते आप सीखें आपने क्या सीखना है, एंड that should be for your learning, not for fun, ठीक है। there are so many ways to have fun, but learning is itself is a fun. तो आपके अगर ऑब्जेक्टिव डिफाइन है तो आपके लिए जो ना ये डेफिनेटली आपको लगेगा कि ये एक मिसिंग पिक्सल है जो आपको हेल्प कर सकता है where you want to be.
Thank you, Dr. Saab. That's exactly because I knew, और मैं चूंकि जिस यूनिवर्सिटी में या यहाँ हम हैं ओवरऑल, मुझे बड़ी तकलीफ होती है। बच्चे अक्सर ना एक मैसेज भी लिख देते हैं, तो मेरा दिमाग में कहा क्या भाई तुम लिख क्या रहे हो, यानी इससे तुम मुझे फिर बुला के, मैं उनको कोई पनिशमेंट नहीं करता हूँ, उसको बुलाता इसलिए उनको समझा सकूं बेटा कि ये ऐसे नहीं देना मुझे, मैं एक सीनियर हूँ, डिपार्टमेंट का हेड हूँ, और तुम मुझे लिख क्या रहे हो, तुम्हें पता है तुम क्या लिख रहे हो ये सर, वो सॉरी। अभी ईमेल भी काफी ऐसी लिखते हैं। सो ये एक कंफ्यूजन है। और फर्दर मेरे ख्याल में डॉक्टर तारिक सुमरो ही नोज, बिकॉज उन्होंने एक सेशन भी शायद किया था अपना IOBM में, मुझे याद पड़ता है, रिगार्डिंग दैट राइटिंग अबाउट द ईमेल।
बोल्ट हमने किया था, जिसमें ये सारी चीजें हमने डिस्कस की थी।
दिस इज एन इशू। और अभी आप देखें डॉक्टर काशिफ, जहां आप बैठे हुए हैं, मैंने अभी 2 दिन पहले एक इंटरनेशनल एक अटेंड किया था, जिसमें वो अपने स्कूल के बच्चों को प्रॉब्लम्स कहाँ के दुनिया में एनवायरमेंटल में क्या क्या हो रहा है, कैसे हल करना है, ये जो पूरा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है, ये वो सिखा रहे हैं असाइनमेंट के जरिए उन स्कूल के बच्चों को। हमारे यहाँ अनफॉर्चुनेटली यूनिवर्सिटीज में आके भी हम एक लिमिटेड अंदाज में कि सिर्फ कोर्स पढ़ना, पास कैसे हो, नंबर कैसे आए, और सारा वक्त झगड़ा इसी का लगा रहता है।
प्रकाश साहब, मेरा बेटा है 4 साल का, वो नर्सरी जाता है। नर्सरी में जो था ना, उन्होंने लार्वा रखे हुए हैं, ठीक है, तो डेली उनकी ग्रोथ करवाते हैं बच्चे से कि आप इसको तुम खाना खिलाओगे, अब तुम इसको ये करोगे, ठीक है, अब ये इतना बड़ा हो गया, अब इसकी ये इसकी नीड है। सिमिलरली कुछ प्लांट्स भी रखे हैं, बच्चे जाकर उसको देखते हैं, ठीक है। सो दीज आर द रियल वर्ल्ड थिंग्स, रियल वर्ल्ड ग्रूमिंग। तो ये हमें उसकी पैरेलली जरूरत है, और यही अगर एक स्टेप आगे जाएंगे तो वो जो ना वो इंडस्ट्री जो भी प्रॉब्लम्स होंगे जो सोसाइटी के, उनको एड्रेस करने पे लग जाएंगे।
श्योर बिल्कुल जी। आई एम सॉरी, अब नाउ व्हाट इज द नेक्स्ट, हूएवर एनी द स्पीकर कोई है, मैडम प्लीज।
जी सर, थैंक यू सो मच। इतनी अच्छी बातें चल रही हैं कि बीच में कुछ कहना बिल्कुल भी मुनासिब नहीं था। यू हैव टेकन अस टू अनदर लेवल ऑफ दिस होल थिंग, IEEE मेंबरशिप के बेस्ट बेनिफिट्स एंड दिस ऑल थिंग्स डॉक्टर प्रकाश, यू हैव कवर्ड इट so well. I humbly request Professor Dr. Tariq Sumro Saab to please take over the mic and say few words from his side. Thank you. The IEEE Karachi section Vice Chair, Professor Tariq Sumro Saab.
Dr. Saab, are you there?
Sir, sorry, I was on telephone call. Sorry, I didn't heard.
Now you have to say something as a Vice Chair of IEEE Karachi section. That's what Dr. Isma has announced right now.
I have to say a few words. Thank you, Dr. Isma, for organizing this event, because I joined very late, actually. I'm actually on my annual leave, and but I was in office till 6, and then I came here, and then I forget that, okay, I have to join the group. So really, it was, I can see more than 50% participant. It's a very good idea that students are here and they learn a lot, because I have just joined in middle of the Prakash Lohana's, talk. Well, our friend Ali Kashif, I missed his talk. So I think all of the, participants learn a lot from this presentation, and we hope that Dr. Isma and her team are going to organize such more events, inshallah, in the future. So from Karachi section, behalf of Karachi section, I'm really thankful to all the participants and the organizers, and of course the speakers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tariq sir. Thank you very much.
With this appreciation note, I humbly want to thank Professor Prakash Lohana Saab for his time, especially he, जैसे सर ने mention किया है, उनके busy schedule से उन्होंने time निकाला हमारे लिए, really is an honor. और जितने हमारे साथ members इस वक्त join किया हुआ है हमारे कराची section की तरफ से और students ने, सब में definitely हमने कुछ बहुत नया सीखा है आज आपसे सर. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thanks for all the motivating words from you. And as you said, volunteering is not for others, but it is for one own पर्सन अपने लिए करते हैं और इसकी बहुत अच्छी हमारे लिए एग्जाम्पल सर आपकी तरफ से मौजूद है सर. थैंक्स अ लॉट फॉर योर वर्ड्स. थैंक यू प्रोफेसर अली काशिफ, प्रोफेसर thank you Dr. Tariq Saab, Dr. Sadiq is here. Thank you so much Dr. Ibrar, Dr. Noor Ali Saab, Dr. Ibrar Saab, everyone, and all the students, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this event. Hopefully, inshallah, we will come up with some new innovative ideas of talks in future. Do join us in future also, and we will request our respected speakers again for the other sessions. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Usman.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a
very
good
much.
night,
Allah
everyone.
Hafiz.
Thank you.
Bye.
Allah Hafiz.
I think you must have a group photo. I think that is important,
Bilkul, sir.
So I think those who have not yet finished, at least if possible, to open their videos.
Yes, please
And,
open the
if
video.
someone from your side, if you just take a photo, because this may be will help you in the your report. So I request if not possible, that's fine. But if you can easily open your videos.
Yes, I am going to say 3, 2, 1, ready, and then the countdown will start. I'll take a snap. Okay, so 3, 2, 1, go. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Ji, thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Allah Hafiz.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
You mean you can